Imagine an aquarium filled with fish you want to maintain, but it's also developing an algae bloom that threatens to choke the tank. The problem is clear. Excessive algae growth will ultimately kill your fish. The challenge becomes removing that algae without harming the creatures you're trying to protect. This scenario perfectly illustrates the biological situation in many diseased organs. The goal is eliminating unhealthy cells while preserving the healthy tissue. Remarkably, cancerous growths show particular vulnerability when it comes to their blood supply. Think of it this way. If you reduce the oxygen and nutrient delivery to cancer cells, it's comparable to limiting the air circulation in an aquarium. You maintain just enough oxygen for the fish to survive, but insufficient levels for the algae to flourish. Your body actually possesses the capability to make this distinction. Standard blood vessels feeding normal tissue are constructed with exceptional care. Picture a home designed and built by a meticulous architect. The foundation is solid, the structural support is robust, the frame is secure, and everything is properly fastened. But cancer growths develop blood vessels differently. They're built like structures put together by someone cutting corners. When stress arrives, like a hurricane, these poorly constructed vessels collapse. Meanwhile, the well-engineered vessels supplying healthy cells withstand the storm. This principle is exactly what certain medications accomplish. But foods possess similar capabilities. Nature has embedded bioactive compounds throughout plant-based foods, essentially creating a natural pharmacy. These substances can help control excessive blood vessel growth feeding cancer cells. They essentially prune back these abnormal vessels to normal levels, preventing cancers from establishing new blood supply systems. This represents genuine protection against disease. Before we continue, I want to share something that's transformed how people approach their health. Many individuals understand isolated health strategies, but they miss the bigger picture. I've developed a comprehensive resource called Stand Strong, the doctor's fall-proof method for life after 70, which creates a complete framework for maintaining independence. It provides detailed guidance on strengthening your legs, enhancing balance, improving overall mobility, minimizing fall risk, and preserving your independence through structured, evidence-based practices. This video covers essential concepts, but the ebook delivers the entire integrated system you need. You can access it through the pinned comment or in the video description. Thousands of people have already begun using this guide to take control of their health trajectory. Now let's dive deeper into these concepts. Consider green tea as an example. Many know it contains antioxidants, and indeed it helps manage blood sugar, reduces cholesterol, and lowers stress hormones. But green tea is exceptionally rich in compounds called catechins, particularly EGCG, which is a powerful anti-angiogenic agent. Years ago, when I worked in cancer research, we developed laboratory systems to test compounds that could starve tumors by cutting off their blood supply. I decided to introduce green tea into one of these testing systems. The results were remarkable. The polyphenols from green tea demonstrated exceptional effectiveness at stopping the blood vessels attempting to feed cancer cells. Had I not disclosed the source to the lab technician, suggesting instead that the compound came from a pharmaceutical company, they would have been extremely excited about its potential. Mother Nature has engineered these systems brilliantly. Polyphenols and EGCG aren't the only examples. Resveratrol, found in red wine, demonstrates powerful anti-angiogenic properties. Genistein, a phytoestrogen in soybeans, actually blocks blood supply reaching breast cancer. This contradicts the persistent myth that soy is harmful. I recently encountered a magazine article claiming soy contains anti-nutrients, which astonished me. The reality is that soy's nutrients, including proteins and phytoestrogens, are beneficial. From a scientific perspective, phytoestrogens bear no resemblance to human estrogen molecules. They're safe, actually block human estrogen, possess anti-angiogenic properties, and starve breast cancer blood supplies. This has been demonstrated in human patients with breast cancer. Tomatoes contain lycopene. Essentially, the same nutritious plant-based foods we recognize as healthy are being revealed as containing bioactive compounds that function as powerful tumor-starving mechanisms. My training as a physician emphasized understanding causation. When patients arrived with illness, I was trained to investigate what went wrong, what they did, what their body did that led to disease. Most patients naturally ask how they contracted their condition. This perspective dominated my thinking for decades. Yet my research led me to a more intriguing question. Why don't we get sick constantly? Think about this. Children typically remain healthy. During your most productive years, you generally stay well. Perhaps you experience occasional colds or flu, but significant illness becomes uncommon. Only as we age do health problems accumulate. So the more fascinating inquiry becomes, why doesn't cancer strike children more frequently? Why don't otherwise healthy adults develop more heart disease? Why does diabetes not emerge more often in younger people? By flipping the question from how did illness develop to why am I maintaining health, I discovered the real answer. It revealed what your body actively does to prevent disease and what health genuinely means. Previously, if someone asked my definition of health, I would respond that health is simply the absence of sickness. Most people would give that same answer, but science demonstrates otherwise. Health isn't merely the absence of disease. Health is your body operating at full capacity, actively defending against illness. Your body contains hardwired defense mechanisms that maintain wellness. I've identified 5 distinct health defense systems throughout my research and career in pharmaceutical development across each of these areas. First, your circulatory system. I've engaged in drug development focused on growing and stopping blood vessel formation. Second, stem cells. My career has spanned decades working in regenerative medicine, developing methods to repair and regenerate organs. The possibilities in biotechnology are extraordinary. Third, your microbiome. I've conducted research with colleagues at MIT and elsewhere, examining gut bacteria. Fourth, your DNA. Most people understand genetics as simply a fixed genetic code, but I've worked on gene therapies that can modify genetic expression. Fifth, your immune system. Immunotherapy has become one of medicine's most transformative breakthroughs, particularly for cancer treatment. I possess professional credibility from developing pharmaceuticals in each area. Rather than relying exclusively on drugs to stimulate these systems, consider what happens when we examine how these defense systems naturally protect us. Your circulatory system maintains health by nourishing healthy cells while preventing malignant growths from establishing blood supplies, like cancer. Here's something most people don't realize. Each of us carries approximately 75 million stem cells throughout our body at any given moment. We literally exist because of stem cells. During fetal development, stem cells are the only reason human form emerges. We retain some after birth, stored in bone marrow, skin, and elsewhere. Our bodies regenerate continuously, which represents one of our essential defense systems. As we age, we require internal repair. Your hair regrows. Your mouth's mucous membrane regenerates. Ever burn your mouth with something hot? It seems devastating initially, but by the next day, regeneration has restored it. Scrape the roof of your mouth, eating a chip. Tomorrow, it's healed. The remarkable reality is that our organs regenerate too. If I removed 2/3 of your liver, leaving just 1/3, the remaining tissue would regrow the missing portion. Your lungs regenerate similarly. If I removed your lung's tip, it would regrow. We're discovering that human regeneration follows biological rules we're only beginning to understand. Our elementary school teachers taught us that starfish and salamanders regenerate, but humans don't. That teaching was incorrect. We do regenerate. Now, researchers work to accelerate this natural regeneration. While biotech specialists develop methods to enhance regeneration, foods can stimulate these processes too. Dark chocolate and cacao contain polyphenols that activate regeneration. Fruit peels contain compounds like urolic acid that encourage stem cells to leave bone marrow and stimulate regeneration. Imagine a future where we match food compounds directly to health needs, like stimulating brain regeneration for cognitive decline. That's where understanding our body's hardwired regeneration defense system leads. Your microbiome houses approximately 39 trillion bacteria, predominantly in your colon. When these bacteria stay healthy, they regulate hormones, cholesterol metabolism, and blood sugar processing. Damaging your gut bacteria damages everything. You maintain an internal ecosystem that, when neglected, destroys your entire system. Shockingly, artificial sweeteners in diet beverages can damage your gut microbiome within 24 hours. Healthy bacteria begin changing because your body doesn't absorb the calories from these non-caloric sweeteners. But your bacteria do consume them, and they dislike them. You're essentially poisoning your internal field. When bacteria die from this poison, your metabolism suffers, your hormones change, even your brain chemicals shift. Protecting this microbiome defense system intrinsically connected to immunity remains critically important. Your DNA represents another defense mechanism. Most people don't realize that your body produces 10,000 DNA mistakes daily that could cause mutations leading to cancer. Fortunately, your DNA defense system repairs itself. Your immune system functions as your ultimate protection against external invaders like COVID, flu, and other pathogens. But equally important, your immune system patrols internally, identifying and eliminating cancerous cells that emerge inside your body. Your immune system conducts constant surveillance against internal threats. Let's explore blueberries, one of my preferred examples. Blueberries are blue because they contain anthocyanins, a natural pigment with remarkable immune-enhancing properties. Anthocyanins powerfully activate beneficial immune response without triggering autoimmune disease. They elevate your T cells and natural killer cells, the elite soldiers of your immune system. Essentially, they provide additional weapons for your immune defenses. Simply consuming about 1.5 cups of blueberries daily can increase your T cell levels by 88%. Athletes who regularly consume blueberries maintain elevated baseline immunity. It's not an enhancer, it's a maintainer, because your immune system operates at peak efficiency. Interestingly, these same anthocyanins reduce inflammation. This addresses a common wellness confusion. We want strong immunity against invaders while simultaneously lowering inflammation. Here's the key insight. Inflammation is actually a component of immunity. Blueberries accomplish both simultaneously. Broccoli represents another excellent immune-boosting vegetable. It contains sulforaphane, a natural compound family giving broccoli its distinctive flavor. Kale and certain other salad vegetables contain it too, but broccoli is particularly concentrated. Broccoli boosts your T cells, your immune system's elite soldiers. Here's an important tip many people miss. While broccoli florets are beneficial, the stems contain twice the sulforaphane. Don't discard stems when cooking. Many recipes incorporate stems beautifully. Blend them into soups, perhaps a broccoli-oregano combination with vegetable stock. It's both nutritious and delicious. For maximum sulforaphane content, consume broccoli sprouts, which are 3 to 4 day old baby broccoli plants. Broccoli sprouts contain roughly 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli. Research examining flu vaccination in healthy 20-year-olds revealed something striking. Understanding these 5 health defense systems, circulation, regeneration through stem cells, microbiome health, genetic stability, and immune function provides a framework for disease prevention. By supporting these systems through food choices and lifestyle habits, you actively maintain your body's natural protection mechanisms. The foods we've discussed work synergistically with your body's hardwired defenses, allowing you to age healthfully and preserve independence. This is how you take control of your long-term well-being. Now, what's also interesting is that the same anthocyanin lowers inflammation. So this is a classic dilemma that is out there in the wellness world. Like, yeah, we want to get rid of inflammation, so we want to make sure our immune system isn't overactive. Well, look, inflammation is a subset of immunity. We want good, strong immunity to protect us from invaders, and we want to also lower inflammation at the same time. Blueberries can actually do that. Another great way of actually elevating immunity is with broccoli. Now, broccoli contains a natural compound called sulforaphane. It's actually a family of different natural chemicals that kind of give broccoli its kind of unique taste. It's also in kale, chardrid, all these other kinds of salad vegetables, honestly. But broccoli is particularly strong in, and it's been shown if that actually, you can during my career in medicine, I was trained to investigate one fundamental question. Why did somebody become ill? What circumstances, what behaviors, what internal dysfunction led to disease? And patients always ask me this same question. How did this happen to me? What caused my condition? For decades, that's how I approached medicine. But as a researcher investigating causation, I eventually discovered something more intriguing. There's actually a far more profound question to explore. Instead of asking why we become sick, why not ask why we remain well? Think about it genuinely. Children maintain remarkable health throughout their early years. Adults in their prime typically enjoy good health. Sure, occasional colds or minor infections occur, but serious illness often waits until later decades. So consider this perspective. Why don't children develop cancer more frequently? Why don't healthy younger adults experience more cardiac disease or diabetes? Some do at younger ages, certainly, but the exception proves the rule. When I reframe that question, shifting from why illness strikes to why illness remains relatively uncommon, it directed me toward an entirely different investigation. What mechanisms exist within our bodies that actively prevent disease? What constitutes genuine health beyond merely being disease-free? I used to answer that question simplistically. Health is the absence of illness. Most people still think this way, but that's inaccurate. Health is not simply the void where disease isn't present. Health is the result of our body functioning at full capacity to resist illness and maintain wellness. Health represents our body's active defense systems operating optimally. I've identified 5 fundamental health defense systems, and I've dedicated significant research to each one. My book addresses these in detail given my professional background in pharmaceutical development across each area. First, our circulation system. I've spent considerable time in drug development focused on growing blood vessels or restricting them. Second, our stem cell systems. I've invested decades pursuing regenerative medicine approaches, exploring how tissues can actually repair and regenerate. The biotechnology possibilities are genuinely extraordinary. Third, our microbiome, the bacterial ecosystem within us. I've collaborated with colleagues at major research institutions investigating this system. Fourth, our genetic material. Everyone understands DNA as our genetic blueprint, yet most don't realize it contains its own defense mechanisms. I've contributed to gene therapy development. Fifth, our immune defenses, which might be more critical than ever before in history, particularly given immunotherapy's emergence as one of medicine's most significant breakthroughs. I possess professional credentials in pharmaceutical development within each domain, but rather than examining how medications activate these systems, consider reversing the perspective. How do these defense systems naturally preserve our wellness without external intervention? Our circulatory infrastructure sustains healthy cells, while simultaneously restricting resources to potential cancers. Our stem cells, something many individuals don't recognize, number approximately 75 million throughout our bodies at any moment. We're literally composed of these cells. When we existed in our mother's wombs, stem cells alone made human development possible. Those early stem cells essentially sculpted our physical form. Some remain accessible after birth, stored in bone marrow and skin tissue. Our bodies continuously regenerate because of these cells. Consider practical regeneration examples. Hair regrows, right? Mucous membranes in our mouth regenerate. Everyone's experienced burning the inside of your mouth on something hot. Absolutely miserable. Next day, completely restored. You scrape the roof of your mouth with a sharp chip. By tomorrow, the tissue has rebuilt itself. That's regeneration in action. But here's what amazes most people. Our organs regenerate similarly. If I surgically removed 2/3 of your liver, leaving only 1/3 intact, the remaining portion would regenerate the missing sections. Just like a starfish regrows a severed arm. Same principle applies to lung tissue. If the tip of a lung were removed, it would regrow. We were taught throughout our education that salamanders and starfish regenerate while humans don't. Incorrect. Humans absolutely possess regenerative capacity. Modern researchers are now investigating how to enhance and accelerate this natural regeneration process. It represents one of our body's intrinsic defenses. While biotechnology companies develop methods to amplify regeneration, certain foods already provide regenerative stimulation. Cacao and dark chocolate contain polyphenols that actually prompt regenerative processes. Various bioactive plant compounds work similarly. Nature incorporated compounds like urolic acid in fruit peels that coax stem cells from bone marrow and accelerate regeneration. Imagine a future where we precisely match specific food compounds with particular regenerative needs, like addressing cognitive decline through brain regeneration. That would genuinely revolutionize healthcare approach. Our microbiome, the bacterial community, contains roughly 39 trillion organisms, predominantly inhabiting our digestive tract. When we maintain healthy gut bacteria, these organisms regulate our hormones, control cholesterol breakdown, and govern blood sugar utilization. Destroy that bacterial balance, and everything deteriorates. We harbor an internal ecosystem. Neglect that ecosystem, and the entire body suffers. Here's something that should concern everyone: this system's fragility. Artificial sweeteners, the type found in diet sodas, can devastate your microbiome within 24 hours. Your healthy bacteria begin changing immediately. These organisms dislike artificial sweeteners. We don't absorb those non-caloric compounds, right? We get the sweet taste, but our digestive tract doesn't extract calories. Guess what our bacteria do? They consume those sweeteners too. They don't tolerate them. Those bacterial colonies start declining. When beneficial bacteria die, your metabolism suffers. Your hormonal regulation declines. Even your brain chemistry becomes affected.